Can y'all hear me now? Now the echo. Hold on. Can y'all hear me now? Okay, I'm playing catch up. I don't know what in the world. I switched over to the ATEM, and audio should be coming through. I'm waiting for it to catch up. All right, I heard that, and it's an echo. Please, is it sounding better now? Is there an echo? Please let me know. See, I tested this significantly before, an hour before I did the live stream, and it's acting up. All right, I can hear me typing, so, all right, good. Hey, let's do that again. Let's cut back, and cut back here. Hey, folks, AJ the CEO here. Thank you for stopping by. And I didn't even do my fade, man. You see, I'm off. I am so off right now. So, can y'all hear me now? I don't know what was up with that, and I need to reset that position. All right, so we should be good. Yay! I don't know, folks. Like we had it flowing. Maybe I should go back to not using the X32. I did this a little bit differently. I have the X32 being routed through my what's this thing called? The Rodecaster, so that I can have my headphones so I don't gotta keep disconnecting everything. So I don't know. Oh well. Hey folks, AJ the CEO, where we show you that no matter how much you've been doing this, you still have issues. So hopefully I give y'all hope if you ever had some stuff. But anyway, we're here. We're here every Friday as best as we possibly can to answer your media ministry questions as best as we possibly can. I need to make sure I'm not doing an echo here so I can hear everything fine. All right, so we should be good. I hope y'all are having a great day. If I don't get to your question, folks, know that you can email me a question to ajhomes.com. I will get to you as best as I possibly can. Now, I've been on the road, so that time has extended out a little bit longer. I try to get to your emails, and one thing, as nice as I could possibly say, I like to help y'all as best as possible. But if you're sending me more than 5 emails, please just make an appointment. It's kind of hard for me to track down an email and go back and forth and correspond with emails throughout the whole day when I'm in a ceiling or in a crawl space or stuff like that. So I want to help y'all, but please just be mindful of sometimes I can't get to you. And if you want that set amount of time, block that time out so I can be completely focused on you instead of, hey, I got you for 30 seconds, then I go do something else, and then I completely forget what we were talking about because I'm all over the place. But let's holler at some folks that are out here. Anthony, what is going on, sir? Good morning. Mr. Clarence, good morning. I'm going to unmute myself again. All right, I can hear myself. Good. You know who I am. Hello. Philip Paul, hello. Covenant Healing, I got your question. We'll get back to you on that one. Mr. Keith, hello. Parker, hello. Victor, hello. Streets of Destiny, how you doing, sir? Nathan, how you doing? I will get to your question as well. Brian Jones, hello, sir. Giving Hope Evangelistic Ministry, sorry for misquoting that. Hello, I'm going to get to your question as well. John, hello. I will get to your question as well. Sorry if I pronounce this wrong. Amunga, hello. I will get to y'all's comments as well. Kevin, hello. Mike from Canada, what is going on? Darius, bonjour, come on. Man, I messed up my French right there. Monty, what's going on, dude? Rhonda, hello. John Cook, hello, sir. Rodney, what's going on? Leon, hello. I did respond to your email. Hopefully you got that. And I think Shane, hello. Brandon, what's going on? Mosey, what's going on? And yeah, so folks, before we even get started in your questions, I'm excited because let me cut over to this super source here and hold on. Let me do something because I just don't know. So let me do this. Gotta hide some information, unfortunately. I trust y'all. It's just the other stuff. So, guess what, folks? We are 80 days away from the E-Missionary Cruise. I'm excited about that. We're going to Fort Lauderdale, leaving out of there, going to Perfect Day at Coco Cay. Been there a couple of times. Great place to relax. And then go to Nassau, Bahamas. We got a bunch of people. We got a total of 17 people. Last email that I got. So if you are going, if you've already been booked already, please know that your final payment is due on February 8th. There's a couple of people that I see the balances because it's a group thing. Not that I know. I just know who has a balance left and has not been paid in full. So please go ahead and knock that out. Last thing I want to do is y'all to miss being able to come along if you've already done all this stuff. If you still want to go, you can still get in there. You can get in there up to 3 days before we leave. All the information is on the Facebook group. I'd love for y'all to be able to come around and hang out. We got more stuff in the works of things like this. And I'm going to give y'all a little sneak peek. Royal Caribbean has a brand new ship that is coming out next year. And I really would like to have our next E-Missionary Cruise on this thing. This is called the Icon of the Seas. This thing, sweet Lord, do you see this? Do you see this? Ooh, wait, look at that thing. Look at that thing. I'm telling y'all, man, if you have not been on a cruise, you got to. I love cruising. That ship comes out on 2024. It can hold 10,000 people. Really excited about it as well, too. All that information is on the Facebook group. And where is it at? Is it this one? No. Is it this one? Yeah, there it goes. That's the info, guys. I'm really excited about it. We're going to have a blast. We ain't going to have no meetings and teach and stuff. We're just going to relax. All of us, we work hard, and this is the best thing that I could do as of right now to be able to set up something just to be like an e-missionary to where we're actually hanging out, get to meet the people that we're talking to online and all this other good stuff. So, all right, Creative for Fun. All right, I see you. Said everything is done. Angelo, thank you so much for the pledge. I appreciate that on Patreon. Thank you so much. And you can see that I have all the alerts still on, which I didn't realize, but thank you so much. Darren, good morning. Josh, what is going on, folks? So let's jump back over here. Let's get your questions answered because that's what y'all are here for. And before I get started, if y'all don't mind, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. And you have to hit the subscribe button to leave comments on these type of live streams. Let me see. All right, so the audio is still good and good. I have to keep checking it. Yeah, do that. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification. That way you don't miss out. And like I said, for the giveaway, thank y'all so much for everybody contributed to the 24-hour giveaway. The way YouTube works, I'm not going to get any of that funding until this month, which is actually on the 22nd. So we're going to be doing the giveaway, the drawing of who that's going to be on the 21st or something like that around that time. Then we'll order everything and we get it out there to the ministries. But anyway, I didn't want to burp into the phone or cough. I didn't know what it was going to come out as. But anyway, let's get in here and get a question here. Covenant Healing wants to know. Let me minimize all this stuff and get this up out of the way. wants to know for me to go through how to set up the ATEM into OBS. All right, so let's go ahead and go through that. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can do this, but I mean, I'm just going to go through the simplest way that the ATEM is handling your video and your audio. So let's bring over OBS, and we're going to switch over to the OBS Complete Bundle version 2. Thank y'all for the people who have gotten that. And actually, I'm not going to do that. Let's go ahead and just make a new collection completely. So this will be brand new. We'll just call it Q&A. And I have my ATEM connected to my computer over USB. That is it. All right. So what we're going to do is just make a new source. I am using OBS version 29. We're going to do video capture. I like to call mine ATEM. I'll just use ATEM. And then we pick that. I'm going to hit Black Magic. Now, if you're on the PC, you can scroll down and check off use custom audio and then pick whatever. So like right now, I have my Rodecaster that I could use, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use my Black Magic right there. So that's going to do everything. So if you have any other type of line input that's coming from your mixer, like again, I have mine coming over USB. You're listening to the X32 right now that's connected over USB to vMix. So if I was doing that, I would pick my X32, which is not listed here because I'm not connected, over a USB-B cable to connect to that. But right now, like I said, you would see the Rodecaster. I could do that, but I'm going to pick Blackmagic. And as you can see, because my audio is being ran through it, there we go. That's pretty much it. Now, this is me personally. You can do whatever you want to, but me personally, I go into settings here and I disable all my audio. These are global audio because, for example, if I came in and set my mic to the same thing here, right here, I am getting double audio. And if I came into another scene, I'm on this other scene, this is global, meaning that audio carries over everywhere. I don't like this because it gives echo. The way I like to do stuff, when I use OBS, they just gave me the best results. I disable all of this, and I only bring in audio on the scene that I want. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully that helps you. Let me turn this off, and let's move to our next one. Nathan wants to know, and I need to move this out the way. Would it compare anywhere close to? Oh, I missed this first question, but this is the second part of it. Is this a good switcher to buy? I think Brian said the same thing. Nathan, I don't see the way the chat works. All YouTube links, not YouTube links, all hyperlinks, unless they come from me, are blocked. Because spam people send some stuff here, and it's an all or nothing type of thing. So if you sent a link, I don't know, but if you could repost the actual name of it, and I will just look it up and bring it back up. All right. Giving Hope Evangelistic Ministry. I don't know why I'm stumbling on saying that. What is the best way to stream service to both Facebook and YouTube at the same time? Anthony said this in the comments. You have a couple of options. You could use a service, and let me log in first so you can actually see it. You can use a service like Restream. So if I come back over here, here's Restream. I would stream to this, and then you set your destinations of where you want to go. So my ATEM, OBS, whatever device that you're using to handle the encoding and sending your signal would go here. So for me, if I was streaming, and let me bring this off screen for half a second so I can clear out some stuff. All right. So if I was streaming from the ATEM, I would come in here and pick Restream, got an announcement about this one pretty soon. I'm excited about with Boxcast. But we would go to Restream. You would pull your streaming key off of here. And let me see. Can I do it right now? Yeah, I'm not streaming anywhere. Let's actually do it so I can show you. So let me rename this real quick. Forget it. No, I can't stream to YouTube since I'm already doing that. I'm just going to change. I'm going to turn off the YouTube one. And I'm going to go to my personal. And I will say Q&A test with Restream. That'll be my title. This is a test. All right. I also have my Twitch account linked to this. Now, I'm not paying for this because I'm going to my personal Facebook account, which is free. Twitch is free. YouTube is free. If you were going to a business page, like my AJ the CEO page, I would have to pay for that. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to just do this. All right. I got this set up. I'm going to take you off screen for half a second so I can pull the streaming key. Well, I guess I can show it because it doesn't copy anything. So I would be here. I'm going to copy that code. Now I'm going to block this. Well, no, I don't have to do that. I'm tripping. I'll put this off screen here onto my ATEM. Now I'm going to start streaming now from the ATEM. And as you see, boom, we just hit here. Y'all are seeing this. And now if I go to my Twitch and my personal page, give it a second. Let's go over here and let's see how this one is going. All right, so there's my stream right now from Restream. That's going to my Facebook page at the same time. And there's Twitch. And I'm going to cut that because it's echoing over and over again. So that's the easiest way to do that. So I'm going to stop streaming now. And that's it. Now, again, I have not put any form of transaction, credit card, anything in here because I'm using the services with Restream that is free. I've been using Restream for over 10 years. Not 10 years, 7 years, 8 years, something like that. And I've never put my account information in because I've never paid for it because I've always used the free one. That is the easiest way. Now, another way that is possible because I have not tested it is to go to using a plugin in OBS that allows you to stream to two places at the same time. That is contingent that your computer can handle it, number one, and your upload speed can handle it. So let's open up speed test real quick, and then we're going to look up multiple, and I have a video on this, but again, this has not been verified with OBS version 29, multiple RTMP plugin. So I'm not sure. Okay, it actually says it can go with version 28. So let's actually download this and put some stuff in here. I don't like all the extra stuff, and this was actually updated on August 6th. So let's go ahead and close OBS. Open this up. That was quick. All right. Now, I'm going to test my upload speed so that y'all can see. Now, again, I'm using Fios, so that's where these numbers are. I wish Verizon would sponsor me, but I am very, very happy with them because I have 500 down and 500 up. I could go faster. I personally don't need to go faster than that. So I have 500 down and 500 upload. That's why I'm able to live stream at 4K because I have the computer can handle it and I have more than enough. Make sure whatever you're streaming at, say it's 15 megabit upload, your computer needs to be able to handle 2 streams of that at the same time. So now that we got that, let's see if the plugin works with 29. This is going to be brand new, folks, because I have not tried this. And boom, there it goes. So what we would do is put in one location here. And actually, let's, can I do... All right, let me do this off screen here so that we can test this out at the same time. I'm going to go back here to, well, actually, I'm going to go to my Facebook page, and then we're going to go to, actually, let me do Vimeo, because then that's two things that I can just do. So what we're going to do is, let me take this off. I'm going to go to a streaming place and add code for here. So I just want to make sure nothing Vimeo just shows my stuff, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to paste my code for Vimeo here. And then I need to do one for you. I'll do Facebook. Facebook Live. All right, I got my personal. And again, I'm not showing the screen because I don't want to give my code away. All right, so that's here. I'm going to add my code here. And I think we're good. So now we're back here. I have Vimeo added. I don't like how, there we go. I like that better. So I have it going to Vimeo. Let me add my source back again. See that I'm learning. I did not close the ATEM that I had here. All right, so we got this. And I need to add my audio here at the bottom. Not like it matters for right now. Pick our Blackmagic. So we have audio coming in here as well. So the OBS natively is set to go to Facebook. So if I start streaming that, let me see if there's a way that I can show this without showing my code here. All right. So right now, that is what's live right now, going to Facebook from OBS. Now, I also have Vimeo. So let me go here. I'm going to start that. Connecting. All right, so it says it's streaming. So now, if I go to Vimeo, that is what this, and now that's how I'm going to both. So you have two options. If your computer is fast enough, you can use the multiple RTMP plugin, which we just confirmed live that it does work on version 29 of OBS. Again, unfortunately, this is Windows only. So if you're on a Mac, it's not going to work, to the best of my knowledge. But you can go to both. Or you can use a service like Restream that if you're streaming to platforms that are free, then you don't have to pay for it. But again, the fee is not that bad if you needed to do, if you want to use a service. I think it's like $15 a month or something like that. So hopefully that helps. John here, camera joystick question. Can any make of stick work with setups for different cameras, makes and models? Our setup has Marshall cameras and now for Macos. Can the cheaper stick work for all? The main thing is your joystick. So I'm going to unplug mine here for a second. And the main thing is not necessarily about the price. It's about what protocol the joystick supports. So this is the joystick I got from AVideo1. The AV cans one I actually gave away to another ministry, and I'm probably going to give this one away too and work on another one. But for right now, this one supports different protocols. It supports VISCA. It supports VISCA over IP. It also supports Pelco, B, and D. And it has a RS422 connection, a RS232 connection, and an Ethernet connection. So I'm right now, this is controlling an SMT AV camera, which is right here, looking down on all my books on my desk that I need to clean up. And then it's also controlling the AVideo1. This one has also been linked to do, it can connect to anything that supports those protocols. So, and I have, mine is over PoE. So, get that connected here. So I just plugged this back in. So let's switch back over to that camera. Once it's up, give me a connection. All right, so camera 2. All right, camera 2. So we're here. Now, just to let y'all know, I know y'all see that mess, but there is my PoE switch, a new PoE switch that I have here, and then I'm making my connections right there at the end of the table so I can connect to. But anyway, yes, so this joystick is controlling the camera that you're seeing right now. And then if it's not going to let me tilt any further. And there's my camera right there that you're seeing. But yes, it can control it. And then if I switch back over to camera, this one, and then I go to this camera, now I'm controlling that. So yes, it can control it. It's not necessarily a brand or anything like that. It's mainly look at the protocol that the camera supports and make sure that your joystick can support it, that protocol, and then yes, they can work. So hopefully that answers your question. Let me take this down here. Let's see. You know who I am. My Sility PTZ controller cannot connect to my PTZ camera without internet. Once I'm running the internet into my switch, it connects to the controller fine, but without the internet, it won't connect. Most likely, the issue with that is you have your controllers and everything set to DHCP. So if you had a closed network, and can I set this up right now? All right, let's actually try this. All right, so I'm going to have this Ethernet cable right now. And this is how I normally set all my stuff up anyway, because of issues like this, that if anything ever happens, I want to be able to still control it. Say the internet goes out, but you still want to be able to use the controllers in church and the cameras. So if I come over here, let's go to this camera first. And that's 81, because I just changed it. First, let's log in. And we're going to go to my network, my Ethernet. So right now, I need to figure out a way to do this. I need to get my power cable for this as well, too, for this to work. So as you can see right now, see, I'm not on DHCP. This camera is specifically set to this IP address, all right? And on my controller is not set. So I'm going to change this, my joystick, to an actual IP address. So I'm going to set this to, because the camera is at 81, so I'm going to set this as 80. 192.168.0.80. That's 80. And my subnet mask 255.255.255.0. And then the gateway is 192.168.0. All right, so now my joystick is set to a specific IP address. All right, so now how can I do this? Oh, I could use the camera that's right behind me. All right, so let's actually do that, because I have that PoE switch I just did. So now let's switch to camera number 2, which is at 82. And we're going to go to the network here and see this is a fixed IP address as well too. All right, so let me, see, I'm not prepared because I didn't have my mic and everything set up so I can get over there to do this. Give me a second. I need to get a power cable for this joystick, and I need the power cable for this camera because when I disconnect them from the PoE switch, it's not going to be able to work. So give me 1 second. All right, I'm trying to find the power cable that goes for this camera. Let's switch over to this one so you can see me. And I need a power cable. Hold on. And I just realized that I don't have a belt on. My pants almost slipped. All right, so we have power cable right here. The joystick is not connected to anything. All right. What we're going to do is connect this one over this red cable directly to the camera. Now, we set both of them to a static IP. We're making this a closed network, all right? There is no internet connected to this in any way, shape, or form. So we connect it right here. And we're going to connect this to the back of the camera. All right, so we're not pulling power on either one of these, so I need to plug this into my outlet right here. All right, you'll see the camera just turned on. Boom. Now we're going to plug in my joystick. All right, so now, as you can see, that's coming on. So as you can see, the IP address is still there, but it's not connected to anything. Now, let's see. Will this work? We go to camera number 1. And guess what? It says we have a connection. So, no internet. Look at that. So, when you have a static IP address, it's going to be able to connect no matter what, because we just made a closed network. So again, if I switch out, this is the only thing that's connected. I'm directly connected to that camera. There is no other way that this is connected to internet in any way, shape, or form. That's how that will work. So hopefully that works for you. So that's why every time when I set up my cameras, I always, and I'm going to unplug this and hook everything back up the way I normally would do it. The cable fell down, so I couldn't get to it. So that's why when I set my stuff up, I always use static IP addresses, but they're still in the range of the router. So that way, if the internet goes down, I can still control everything. I might not be able to stream, but I can still connect to the cameras because it's a closed network. Just like I'm here. My NAS, my computers, my hard drives on my NAS and everything, I can still access them because it is, even though it's connected to my router, I can still connect to it because it dynamically, I can still talk to it. It's static set to an IP address. It's not dynamically getting an IP address that can change. So hopefully that helps. And again, that was not something I was prepared for, but hey, there you go. We got your stuff. So with that, especially, please go ahead and hit a like for that one, because that was some work to get that one. Among us, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Can you do a review of the Roland VHD 1 Plus? If they will send me one, I would love to. Most of the time, I don't buy any equipment unless it's something that I'm getting ready to review. But I will see if I can reach out to them and see if they will give me one to review. Because I'm trying to see, where is that? Because I have worked with a ministry that has used one. And let's actually... Roland VHD 1 Plus. Let's see. So if I go here, and yeah, I have used one of these with a USB capture. Okay, that's the difference. I need to see if they'll send me one. I'll reach out to Roland and see. And it actually says this is temporarily out of stock on B&H Photo. But I had a couple of ministries in San Francisco. This is what they used. They used the older version of this. So we look here. Memory card, USB out. Menu, another output. I'm thinking menu is more for like the multi-view. You have 4 inputs with, and it looks like only one has a scaler onto it. It has XLR audio in, 2 channels, and audio out, RS-232, and a tally. Like I said, I'd love to review it. If I bought one of these, this thing would just be sitting here collecting dust. So I will see what I can do. No promises yet, but I will let y'all know. John, one of the people is I'm going to actually meet for the first time on the E-Missionary Cruise. Happy Friday, AJ. Your Friday Q&A sessions are the one highlight of my week. Miss Toy, hey, thank you for subscribing. Thanks for sharing all your knowledge and so willingly. I really appreciate it. Hey, you are welcome. I am glad to help. Kevin, good morning. What is the best outlet to get good graphics, custom lower thirds? Also, how do you get copy-free music that can be used during your stream? Well, I would honestly recommend something that I have been using, and I actually just renewed it again for this year. That is Elements by Envato. There is a link in the description. Let me make sure I actually have it. Yes, I do. I have a link in the description, and I will put it in the chat. I use this for everything. Now, my music for the YouTube stuff, I actually use Epidemic Sound, which I just renewed as well, too. But this one lets me do a bunch of stuff. So let me just show you. how I actually do my stuff. So I have some flyers that I've downloaded that I'm going to be making flyers soon. I can put them with a project with a license. So this is for me. This is for the e-missionary stuff. Hint, hint, coming up. There's some more stuff for e-missionary. Here's music that I'm using for my pastor's live stream. So when I get this, I get a license, and I have tons of music. So I'm just going to show it here. Here's the license that I would get. So if I ever get hit for anything, this is the license that I would put into YouTube, Facebook, or whoever to prove that I have the rights for it. I also have stock footage, that stock photos. So if you were on the Facebook group when I was announcing our roundtable, this is where I got the stock image from. Other music, this is what I used for the video that I used for my church for our bumper for the sermon that my pastor was preaching. I mean, you have stock footage, video templates for After Effects, Premiere Pro, Apple Motion, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve. You got music, royalty-free music that has a license that is covered, all of that good stuff. You got sound effects, templates, graphics, websites, fonts, presentations, I mean, it's like $197 for a year. Now, this is a business expense, but again, I use these for all of my churches. I use this for all the stock footage that you see when I do videos. It comes from here. The only thing that I don't have was music through Epidemic Sound. And it's because they just have a wide variety of music that I liked. But I could use everything on here if I wanted to. It's just that Epidemic Sound allows me to have my music go across all my social media under my name. It was just easier at the time, and I had that before I did this. So I put the link down below. Wait a minute, y'all said y'all can't hear? Oh, that must have been an older one. Man, I'm tripping. That's what I use. Elements by Envato. I actually have a link that I put in the comments for that. I've been using them for 4 years, and it works great for me. All right, so this is where I was having some audio issues. Let me catch up to where we actually got it. Back to John. I'm just curious, everyone, how many people does it take to smoothly run your AV system? Ours takes about 3 to be ideal. 1 on presentation PC, 1 running the sound mixer for front of house, and 1 running the 3 PTZs. Personally, I would prefer 3. Right now, we have a couple of people that are in training. So I normally am bouncing around. I'm doing sound, and I'm doing OBS for our lower thirds, and doing comments and stuff like that to show. That's what I bounce around, and then I'm bouncing around taking photos for B-roll footage. Please, if y'all are not doing that, do that. Build up your B-roll repository so you have pictures for anything else, and then you don't have to use stock photos. You can use your own inventory of stuff. John typically is running the video switcher and Pro Presenter, but we have Sister Alicia who's learning the video switcher, so she's doing that. And we got another guy who's in training. I'm gonna probably push him to one of these other ones as well too. So John is handling the cameras and Pro Presenter. Sister Alicia is doing just the video switcher. I'm probably gonna see if I can get our new guy on the cameras or Pro Presenter, whichever one is easier. So I personally wouldn't like anybody doing double duty. But we'll see. That's how I do it. But I would love to see how everybody else is doing their stuff as well too. Shane. Our church uses OBS with Restream to stream to Facebook and YouTube. Audio is fine on the Mac, but not on the PC with Windows 11. 4 wireless mics, 1 congregation mic. Windows tries to single out 1 source. Now, are you saying single out 1 source? I need to know, how is all of this connected? How is your audio coming into OBS? Is it going through a mixer? Because there's a bunch of jumps that could possibly be causing an issue. So I just need to know the full setup before I can actually diagnose anything. All right. And I didn't even see him, but Francisco, hey, good morning, sir. Brandon. I'm getting a black screen on input number 4 on our A10 Mini Pro. Has anyone had issues? What do you have connected to input number 4, Brandon? And we'll go from there. Creative for fun. Phew, made it. Can't wait for the relaxing cruise. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Is the audio still low? Did y'all want me to bump it up? All right, so I'm hearing it fine for me, but let me know. Philip Paul. Hey AJ, can I know how do you set the Chrome remote desktop? Like how you have a list of computers on your set. Do you set your email on their computers? Yes, I do. When I normally, computers that I build for clients as well as the churches that I work for, I have in Chrome my account logged in as an account so that I have access to it. So here, all of these computers, even my old church, Antioch, Epworth in Baltimore, First Union Baptist Church, I'm there, First United Methodist Church. That's a laptop in Chicago that I have access to. Good Shepherd Baptist Church, PC number 1 and 2. My sister's computer in Maryland that I just recently fixed. My Mac Mini that's over here to the right. Signs and Wonders Ministries, computer 1, 2, and the Welcome computer. My other streaming system that's over here to the left. Fifth Street Baptist Church. I don't use this anymore because the guy who actually runs it, Jabari, he actually uses Chrome Remote Desktop. So actually I can delete this because I don't have any access. You can only have one account at a time do that. So, but he's using Chrome Remote Desktop, so I don't have to do that anymore. Chestnut Grove, this is my dad's first pastorate. I sold him a system like 3 years ago, and they don't have any internet out there. So as you can see, it hasn't been online since February 23rd, 2020. Need to follow back up with them. Community Independent Methodist Church, they were on yesterday. First Baptist Church of South Lynchburg, they were just on last Sunday. Greater Faith AME Zion, PCs 1 and 2. Grace Free Will PC, they have not been on since November. Gilfield, they were on last Sunday. Greater Works Christian Fellowship, this is Pastor Alicia's church. This has not been online for like oh no, this computer died. I actually need to remove that as well too. My mom's computer is off. My laptop, that's the church down in Oxford, North Carolina. That's my cousin's church down in Norfolk. I don't know why that's not been on. That's strange. For a minute. SBC, what is that? Something Baptist Church. I don't recall that, but that was on a couple of days ago. There's the other laptop that's in our conference room, and then there's my other computer that was running Oncast that the motherboard died. So yeah, all of these have my account logged into, and at any point in time, I can log in. I would mess with my sister right now, but she's working. So, but yeah, that's it. Scott, hey, good morning. Robert, good morning. And his question was, does the new OBS support update support NDI? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It's been working perfectly fine for me at my church for about 3 weeks. It has been using, we use NDI to do our clock from ProPresenter to OBS. Been working perfectly fine for a whole month, or whenever OBS 29 dropped. Bruce, good morning. Playing in racquetball tournament in Arizona. We'll review replay. Alrighty, enjoy. Leon, should we have a A10 mini along with the switcher we have? I hope I'm not saying that. It's ATEM, ATEM. I still don't know what that means. I hope that's what you mean. With the switcher we have Facility, PTZ, controller, camera, PoE, decoding. Should we have A10 mini along with the switcher? I mean, it all depends. You don't have to. I like it because it just makes stuff simpler and it allows me to grow. I don't really recommend stuff unless like you really ask me. If your stuff has been working fine and you don't have a need for it, or you want to grow into something, I don't say you necessarily need to get new equipment. It all depends. If you're struggling or having some issues, or you want to introduce new stuff and features to your stream. Elliot, OBS 29 has me depressed. Why I got you depressed, Elliot? Back to Leon. We use Restream to be able to stream to Facebook and YouTube. Okay, that was people's answering questions. Robert was saying 500 upload. Yes, sir. Um, Joseph was saying Restream is great. We use it with vMix to keep my bandwidth down. Yep. Because again, if you're streaming it any other way, it's like you're streaming twice. Like right now, my A10 Mini Pro is streaming to Facebook, which I haven't seen no comments on that, so I might stop that. That's handling this. My web presenter is handling the stream that you're sending right now. So yeah, technically I could stream to a bunch of places individually. I just don't want to. Back to John. Thanks for the Restream info. Learn something new here every week. I always thought Restream was a paid service only. Yeah, it depends on what you're streaming to, is where you introduce cost. Streets of Destiny, using OBS 29 Facebook profile or landscape. Me personally, I'm still not a big fan of vertical video. That's just me. Because me sitting here for long periods of time like this, even when I watch, I always turn my phone this way. I'm just not a big fan of it. But for that type of video, that's when I would use this. And again, I understand some people feel that the in-stream is overpriced. It all depends on your budget. But from a simplicity standpoint, that's what I would use, which makes me, I almost want to hook up something to stream to start building up my TikTok and Instagram and all this other stuff like that. But I don't know. Anthony, is there a way to remove the PIN number or password from the PC? I switched to Windows 11 and it's automatically on there now. Yes, you can. What's a computer I can use to do this? Well, first, to remove that, now I've done this in my installs, Anthony, and this is how I get around it. Microsoft is trying to force you to use your account. So let me see. How can I do this easily? User accounts. Where is it at? So like when I normally install stuff, Windows 11 forces you to have an internet connection. Now, how I get around that is I let it install as far as I need to with for the internet connection for you to do Windows. When it starts asking me to do a profile and make an account and it insists on me using a Windows account, something like that, what I do is I go through the process, unplug the Ethernet cable, disconnect it from the internet, hit back, go forward, then it's going to ask for a local account. That's how I get around that when I'm installing a PC. And I have to build a PC for Rose Chapel that I'm doing an install for them in about 2 weeks. I'll go through that process and I'll do another beginning to end full system build and everything. So that's going to be a long live stream while I'm going through every single step. So hopefully that will help. But I'm trying to get this so that it doesn't show all my information. I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't even use that email account. Pretty much, Anthony, what you need to do is you need to change your account into a local account. That way you don't need a PIN in any way, shape, or form. So I'm trying to go through here and show how I can do this without giving up too much information. I don't know. I'm going to have to cycle back with that one, Anthony. Now, one thing you could do is make a brand new account on the computer. So let me see if I can do that one without doing too much information. See, this is why I don't like they do this stuff that makes it difficult to get to things. All right, and again, my apologies. I just don't want to show certain information on my computer. Yeah, I'm gonna have to circle back because why did they done made this crazy? Manage. Okay, All right, whatever. I have to deal with it. All right, so if I go here, if you want to get around that, what I would do is make a new user, and I want to add a new account. And of course, it's going to say, oh, I want to use this Windows. I don't have this person's information. Add a user without a Microsoft account. And now this is a local account. So if I call this as, test, and I'm not going to put a password on it, there's my local account. And of course, it's going to keep asking you to, hey, are you sure you want to use a Microsoft account? No, I don't. That's how you would get around that. And that's typically how I always make mine. It will prompt me for it. I hit back, disconnect the internet. Since it has no internet, to make a Microsoft account, it defaults to making a local account. So that's how I normally do mine. So let's remove this account because I have no reason for anybody else to log onto this computer. And there. Create it for fun. Close out all this stuff here. I'm trying to figure out how come I don't see the audio output for the X32, nor does it come up for the Blackmagic on my computer. AMD are the initials for the system. Is there a way the music is so low? Clueless. All right, well, I don't know of a way I can do this right now since I don't have mine connected right now. Actually, hold on. Let me add scan converter on, and then I can remote into the computer over here. All right, so my system is hooked up to the X32. I have the audio going over USB. That's how I have mine filtered in here. So let me open up. Why in the world did that come up? Okay. All right, I got my NDI viewer here. So let's cut over here. So this is my streaming system that's streaming right now. And you can't see my mouse. And that stinks because I can't see it either. So like right now, if I go to my audio, right now I am sending audio out over USB to the X32. All right. So if I bring up my X32 and I go to my routing, I'm using user config, and as you can see right now, the PC that's muted right now, that way, because if I do this, you're going to get an echo. I get rid of that. I'm routed to channels 7 and 8. That's how I have mine right now. So if I go here to routing, I go to my inputs. You can see 7 and 8 are pulling from 1 and 2 from the card, the USB card. So anyway, that's my settings. That's how I have everything. If I go back over here, as you can see, it's showing up here. So if you're not seeing anything listed, here, then I would say make sure that the cable is properly seated on the back of the your computer, as well as that. Now, I can't remember if we did USB for y'all stuff or it's connected over a cable. If it's connected over a cable, then make sure that you are plugged into the green headphone out of the system. That is your speaker out, which is the green jack on the back. That would be this one. Hold on. Get out of here, Mike. That one right there, that green one. That green one right there. There. Then that will be your speaker out, and then on your computer, it should just show that you have the speaker out as your option. And then that would play into whatever aux connection that you have going in, aux 1, aux 2, whatever like that. So like originally before I got these other USB cables that I just ordered, typically my PC was on 5 and 6, and I had those stereo linked together, and then that's how I controlled my computer audio. That's how I typically had it. So I don't know. If you have USB, the routing, that's how you would connect it. If you're connecting it to one of those, make sure the cables are seated, because if I connect it to here, it will show as an output option. Like right now, if I go to my speakers right now, see, I have a bunch of these. I have my Rodecaster. That's where my audio is coming in so I can hear this. But I do have speakers right in front of me. Right here. That's my speakers that are sitting right here in front of me. There's my ATEM, which I rarely ever use, because that would be sending the audio directly to the ATEM. I don't want to do that. And I need to remove these Rode Connects, because that was testing out something. And then my monitor in front of me has a headphone jack. So you're just picking whatever. It's going to show everything that's connected. If you're not seeing anything, make sure that your cables are properly seated. That would be the only reason why they're not there, or unless somebody manually, well, actually, let's do that again. The only way something else wouldn't be showing is if you disabled it. So if I come in here and say, for example, I don't want this. I don't want to allow that. I don't want to allow this virtual output. Don't allow. Don't allow. I think I picked it by mistake. And I'm going to say, I don't want this one. Don't allow. I don't want this. Don't allow. It's showing everything that's available. And I only want to use the ones that's available. The Samsung, I don't use that. That's the multi-view that I have over here. That is another monitor that I use. And that's it. So now if I come back out of here, you see, those are the only options. If you're missing something, either somebody went in and did that, or the cables are loose. So hopefully that helps. I know that was long drawn out, but D, our service starts at 10:30, but my bishop wants us to start the stream at 11. We could be anywhere in service. What's a good way to transition into the service? A host intro. That's what I would do. It could be pre-recorded. It could be live. Do anything, because it's just like you wouldn't just walk into the next Marvel movie. Again, this is the artistry of a live stream, which that video I need to make. You have to think of it from a television show. Do you just jump right in? Somebody else did this, and I'm gonna steal this. They actually do credits at the end of the service, giving a big shout out to all the people who made the stream possible, who was running the cameras, who was doing the graph. I mean, that's awesome. That's an awesome idea. I would say if you're doing something like that, make it a certain amount of time. Make that your intro, D, and then let that be the intro that introduces everybody. It doesn't have to be long. It just wants to be something short. Because I remember I used to have a long intro. I've shortened that down to where my intro is, hey, folks, AJaytheCEO here. We're here at blah, blah, blah. We're going to be doing this, this, and this. All right, let's go. That was my intro. You know, but you want to do something like, hey, welcome to blah, blah, blah. We're thank you for joining us. We're going to get right into service and come along with us, and then transition in. Something short. It doesn't have to be very long. And I might make a video on how to do something like that. But great question. Oop, it jumped up on me. Mike. Careful, Icarus, changing your network settings live. Robert, are your PTZ cameras mounted to your main internet modem so you could access them remotely? Technically, yes, they are. But I've never tried to do it like that. But yes, they are. Because at our church, we don't have them on the internet, just on our own LAN. You can work them way too. I mean, technically, if I wanted to do that, I could put it on a virtual LAN so it's segmented so internet wouldn't go in. But it all depends. We got a bunch of people that are playing back and forth with the questions, so that's awesome. Otis, howdy from Texas. Dalen, I have 3 PTZs hooked up to an IP controller with a static IP. We're looking at updating our router to a mesh system. Would the IP addresses need to change on the PTZs? No, unless you would only need to change, well, technically, They really don't need to be changed at all. If you want them to have access to the internet, it's just like what I just did. It's a closed network. If they have static IPs, even on your network, they'll still talk because the network is going to allow traffic to go back and forth to them on a closed network. If you want to access them and your new router has a completely different IP address, so like mine is 192, well, my internal for my network is 192.168.0 something. My guests, if you come here to my house and you are on my guest Wi-Fi, which that's the only one you would be allowed on, I do 10.0.0.1. My security cameras are on a completely different network. My smart device is on a completely different network. I have mine separated. But as long as your new router supports the same network IP range, then no, you don't need to change them. Let's see where I left off at. 2. All right, page 1. Missed a couple of people. Francis, hey AJ, can you please explain ProPresenter 7 licenses and which one you would recommend a church gets? Thank you. Sure. So let's go to Renewed Vision. They are the people who make ProPresenter. So if we come on over here, and I don't know if she's watching or not. If my baby is watching, hey, lady, I love you. So we come over here and say we want to we want to look at our licenses. All right. So the 1-seat license, meaning that you can have ProPresenter on one computer. Actually, you can have it installed on multiple computers, but you can only use one without the watermarks. That's what this would be. A site license would be that you actually able to put it on multiple systems at the time. So say you have a youth church that actually use ProPresenter. You also have your main sanctuary. That would be a site license to where it could be used for how many seats that you have available. And I don't know how many that is. So like here, so church campus. So right now, this is just one seat. If you have a campus, it could be Mac or Windows. It's for 1 year, one physical campus, so 20 seats. So you can have 20 computers using this in your campus. That would be $1,000. So that would be the difference. So hopefully that makes sense. I personally have only used one off on mine. Back to John. One time when we were shorthanded, I was on the camera control at right station, then jumped to sound left station, and then tripped on the stool of the lady running and knocked her off. Man. Back to Otis. We would like to have 3. However, we usually have 2, sometimes 1. Yeah, I know that. Brandon says a monitor feed from the streaming PC. I don't know if that was a question or did I miss something, Brandon? Please let me know. Back to John. Now, my next question regarding team numbers. Do you do anything different if your team is shorthanded for a week? Do you adjust your workflow or leave things out when shorthanded? Well, right now, for me, I haven't added too much complexity. The only difference, I would say, the workflow that I have, I don't like doing it, but I could run everything myself. Now, if I did have to cut anything out, it would be like, hey, praise team, I might not have the lyrics up for you if I'm moving around. But technically, when the praise team is on, I have the 2 cameras fixed on what I want, and I bounce back and forth so that I can still do lyrics. For the most part, my flow is what would be left out is a detailed person on sound making adjustments live. That would be the only thing that I normally would cut out. Everything else is pretty straightforward that one person could do everything minus the sound. That's me. Claudette, Good morning. I'm still struggling with getting the Windows computer to recognize additional physical screens when I plug in HDMI. It only has one HDMI input, and I recently used a USB dock. Okay, well, from your dock, if it has HDMI out and it has your plugged in, like my Mac does this for one other strange reason. So, like right now, there's my Mac right there. Sometimes it acts up. And right now, I have my local screen that's right beside me. Actually, let me do this shot instead. So, right now, that Mac right there, sometimes this screen works, but for whatever reason, it's through a USB hub. It won't show on the ATEM. I don't know why it does that. That's the hub. I don't know if it's just a Mac Mini or whatever. But anyway, when it comes to your computer, make sure that the USB jack that you're using and the hub you got actually has enough power to support that signal. Your computer can actually handle sending video over that, and then hit the Windows key and the letter P. So I don't know if you can see this. If I hit Windows P, it gives me this window, and I can set my screens. So make sure, like mine is on extended right now. So if you hit this and you don't have an option, your computer's not detecting that other monitor. Or it could just be that it's disabled. Another way you could do that is go here to your display settings and see these are my screens right now. You might have one that's disabled. Make sure it's not. If you don't see anything detected, I would try a different hub. Or if the hub is fine, try a different jack on the back of your computer. That would be my suggestion for that. Philip Paul wants to know, is there a new update for OBS today? Is it all working well? I mean, I haven't seen an update. Now, I do have my automatic updates turned off. But, hey, let's go ahead and check and see. We come up here. So, just if y'all want to know, come here to settings. And then, where's it at? I think I might have skipped it. Oh, yeah, right here. Automatically check for updates. I have mine turned off just because, you know, sometimes some stuff is get kind of funky and I don't need stuff to break on me. But let's check it out. There's an update. Fix the in-video audio effects. Fix the crash. A lot of this is in video related. So I'll update this and I'll see what's going on. Because, again, this is not, I'm not updating my one at church yet. I'm going to play around with this first and see what's going on. And let's see what actually happens with it. Because I do have NDI on here. There's my stuff. That's fine. Let's test the NDI. And I should be able to pick up my other computer if it's working. NDI is working for me. The plugin is still working. So for right now, it looks good. I'm still not going to push this to my church's computer yet. But for me, 29.01 is working. Let's actually switch back to the OBS Complete Bundle number 2 and see how that's working. Oh, there's my stinger that I made. Somebody asked me about that. So all my pre-service stuff is off. I wonder why video is coming through here. That is very strange. Why? Oh, because I still... No. Why is that showing? I don't know why that's showing for me. Alright, now that was strange. It was showing something that it wasn't supposed to be showing. I'm sorry, I just had a tangent there because that acted up on me. That is very, very strange. Oh, I'm sorry. That was my countdown. That's the reason why I was there. That messed me up. So anyway, all right. So it looks like it's working fine from here. So if I came in here to my Bible lower thirds, where's my doc? Bible lower thirds. Get this here. So we layer those on top. So if we turned on lower thirds, does that work? Yes, that works. And then if I go to my Bible doc, let's go to James 1. Yeah, so everything is still working for me in 29.01. There you go, done live. Yay. So we got a bunch of people. So y'all say increase audio. So let me crank this up a little bit more. Well, maybe I should increase my output. Let's do that. Now, I am talking low, so I'll make a better effort to talk in there loud. Rhonda, I tried using Bible Show using the instructions, but it's not working. Using OBS 29, Bible not showing in OBS. Strange. I need to play around with that. Let me see. Jesse Hernandez. Good morning, everyone. My biggest question is how everyone feels about the gear choices they have made after 6 months or more. Has anyone wished they went a different route or paid a higher price? That's a very good question. I pose that to everybody. What are y'all thoughts? Me, as of right now, what at Signs and Wonders, what I wish I had done is, and it's going to be very difficult to do this with all the chairs and everything inside the sanctuary, and I would need a lift to do this. I wish I ran a 2 or 3 more backup video cables to the back, because I wish I had a static camera in the back. I want to add that. We were under a budget, but I wish I could do that again and run another cable there so that I can do something like that, so I can have a secondary static camera to hide the adjustments. That's what I would personally would like to do. And from a budget standpoint, I mean, I'm happy with the ATEM Mini Extreme, but now that the ATEM Constellation is out, I would love to use that and replace that and have that being rack mounted. Since we're using OBS to stream, that's what I would do. I'm honestly was debating about getting one here. I don't really have a need for it because my cameras would work fine except for the camera in the back. That's HDMI. I would need an HDMI to SDI converter for everything. But that ATEM Constellation is pretty slick. And again, that's what we started with at Antioch. So if I came back over here and let's look at the Constellation. So if we look at the back, I just want the regular one, like this one. It actually has some extra features in it that are so pretty slick. You actually have 10 inputs and you have 6 addressable outputs. So here, if you ran everything into this, like my stage display, I can run this in and have one out go to stage display, have one go to an output for the TVs, another one goes to the live stream, another one. I mean, I can have 6 addressable outs, and it has a USB in, so I don't really need a capture card. I can just use a USB out that would go into the computer. That's one thing I would change if I had it to do again, or I would add later. But again, this wouldn't work for us because all of our cables that I have to everything are HDMI, just like I have here. So it wouldn't be no point in me doing that. But that's what I would like to do. Tony. Hi, this is about a PTZ camera that I tested for sports. The picture is not clear. When I tried to shoot a football match, how do I fix the clarity of picture? Well, I need a reference for that. And then also, yeah, I need a reference. And then what type of camera do you have as well, too, before I can address that. Back to Jesse. Hi, I'm using the 15 button one, but now that the plus is out, I would love to get the touch knobs. Oh, I'm talking about the Stream Deck, I believe. Okay, awesome. Here's the name of the switcher, the Blackmagic Television Studio Production Switcher. So that's kind of what we were on right now. The production switcher. Now, I'll be honest, Nathan, I'm like, which television studio production switcher? Let's see. I don't know if they decommissioned that one or not, because I'm looking at their switchers. And you said what was it? You said studio production. So it's one of these, but I think these are that's the 4K one. Did you want that one? Because I think these are the older ones, and this one replaced that. Because that's 16. You're still going to come in less in those price. The only difference is I think this one supports 4K. Which one? If I had my choice, and if I don't need 4K, I would maybe go with something like this one. Which one was that? That was the 2ME. And then this one gives, how many outputs does this have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 20 inputs. Awesome. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 independent outputs. That's sick. That's sick. I like that. Again, this only supports up to 1080p, 60 frames per second, but that's still slick. If I had my studio and I was redoing everything and I could cut the walls and all this other stuff, I would possibly go with something rack mounted like that. But let me know. I would go with this one unless you prefer the 4K one. Covenant Healing. What reason my Rode Video Mic Go on-camera shotgun doesn't show up when it's plugged into mic 1 on the ATEM, but the Rode Wireless Go does? I'm not sure on that one. Video Mic Go on camera. Well, I mean, if it's on, doesn't show up when it's plugged into mic 1. That isn't, I don't know. Try and use the same cable that you have your Rode Wireless Go plugged in. Use the same one and plug it into your Rode, your shotgun, and see if that works. Because that's how mine would work. Because I got this one. I don't know if my batteries, my batteries are working on this. So if I connected this here, now y'all aren't going to be able to hear this because I'm not routing my audio through the ATEM. You're hearing the X32 do this. So, but you should be able to see the representation. So first, we're going to go here. I'm going to change this. It's already set to a mic, so we're good. So I'm going to plug this into number 2 here. All right. Oh, all right. So there's the audio from me, and I don't know if you can see me tapping the mic. So I don't know. Check that your mic, do you have it set to mic level and not line in? Because mine works, and I'm just using the cable that's on the back of mine. And again, I don't know if this is the same mic. This is the old one, but that's what I'm using, and that works for me. So I'm not exactly sure. Kelvin, how do I get better audio for live streaming on Facebook? I need some more information. What are you currently using right now? And how is your audio being routed in? And then we can try and diagnose that. Back to Jesse. How do you guys start your live streams? I'm looking into automating the startup and wonder if anyone has any feedback on that. So when you're saying automated, meaning that it just does it automatically. Now, like for me, how you saw me do mine is automated. Once you see that 15-minute countdown, I have mine in vMix that I have a trigger on each one. So when that video, and I don't know if I can show this to y'all or not. Let's see. Because I know this gets problematic when I try and do this. So we're going to tempt fate here. Let me open up this again. So when I go here, so this right here is my intro. And I'm going to go here to triggers. So the way I have mine, once I start this video, which is a 15-minute countdown, I have it, as you can see here, on completion, it plays my intro video. All right. And then when I go to my intro video, I go to the trigger for this. When this triggers, it turns off my background music. It turns off all of my overlays, which is where you see the comments and everything like that. It turns all that off. And when it's completed, it switches over to my Blackmagic. So all of that is automated. I do that through vMix. There is an advanced scheduler with OBS that I personally did not mess with that much. I do this in vMix. That's how mine transitions. So once y'all see that countdown, once it ends, it's going to go through that intro, and I got 15 minutes and 45 seconds before it's going to cut to my ATEM. So that's how I've had mine automated, and that's personally what I want to actually start doing at Signs and Wonders to simplify it some more. That's what I do to automate it. Back to, all right, I already answered that. I need some more info on that one. Leon, we use presenter now that is cloud-based, which means I can do the service at home, and then when I get the service, all I need to do is open up presenter, open up for service. Yes. Does Pro Presenter work the same way? No, it does not. We're looking to move from the PC running vMix to an M2 Mac and not sure the streaming software to get. Honestly, I mean, even though the M2 and the M1 can stream well, I just don't like that. Me personally, that's just me. What do y'all think? Philip Paul, I would divert this to Mike. Wants to know, does the WebSocket for the touch portal working? That I don't know. Jesse, we use the M1 Mac and just run through ProPresenter for streaming to YouTube. You could use OBS or a lot of people like Ecamm Live for the Mac. Man, it's been a long time since I've caught one of these streams. If you ever need help working out the audio noise from your home setup, let me know. Yeah, I know I have a little bit here because I threw all this. I know the noise was introduced because I'm running this from mixer to mixer so that I can hear. I didn't get enough time to test out what I normally do. Because typically I use this and I have a separate mix just for me to hear this, which is separate than what y'all hear. So this is just like, I actually have the broken P16 around here, but it's really, really broken. That's what I wanted to use, but I might actually buy one just to have it here, so I can have something to play around with and sample. But that's how I normally do it. So what you're hearing, if you're hearing noise, is because I didn't thoroughly flush out my setup before we went live. Rhonda, I do a lot of research and learning ahead of time, so I'm pretty happy with what we have done. Is much more I want to do. Would you swap the ATEM Mini Pro for an would like to swap the ATEM Mini Pro for an Extreme. That's why most of the time when I do this, I don't ever install an ATEM Mini Pro. Even if everybody's saying that the budget is tight, I highly recommend going to an Extreme because the features and the benefits they get, once after about 2 to 3 services, people realize the limitations of the ATEM Mini Pro, mainly the multi-view and the output. That's the main thing I've seen. Back to Jesse. Thanks for answering my question. I'm working on an event right now and have a Constellation 2 ME next to me right now. Love it. I want to see, man, the toys, they get so much gooder and gooder that I want to play around with. But I mean, like my cameras, I can run SDI cables for that. But then the Blackmagic that I have here, that wouldn't work. I mean, my computers, I would have to change everything over to SDI to do that. So I don't know. I would like to do it, but again, I personally don't see a need for it right now. If I was to do it again and I had an option to do everything, I would do SDI everything and still have the A10 Extreme for other connections. So technically, I think that would be overkill. I could have one of those constellations, have my cameras go to SDI to this, have only one SDI output from my computer from going from the A10 Extreme fed into that Extreme, and I would have two. But I think that would be overkill for right now. But you never know. I have the Roland V8 HD. I wish I had a switcher I could control remotely. Oh, and Jesse reminds us, don't forget that the 1ME does not have super source and that none of them do ISO recording. So you would want to pair it with an SDI Extreme ISO to maintain recording. That's another benefit. Awesome. Tony was saying the camera that he's using is the Zoetek 30 NDI. Let me see. Most of those, for the most part, are fairly the same. But let me see. So this camera, this looks like the frame of like a SMT AV. And a strange. Now, how are you connecting it? Are you using, Tony, are you using the NDI to send the video? Or are you using HDMI, SDI? Which one are you using? And we'll address that when we get some of that answered. Nathan, it's not on the website. Just type it in a browser. You had a video where you were switching it out at Antioch. Okay. Yeah, I got you. I think I addressed that one too. Back to Jesse. Hey, AJ, what brand of PTZs have you had the best interactions with? That's the biggest reason I really prefer PTZ Optics, because their customer support service is stellar. Personally, I've had more interactions with AVCans than Famako has been very supportive. And if I had ever questions, then A-Video1 is good. I haven't interacted with them that much because this is just recently dealing with them. But those three, and I would say Persil, are other ones that have been very responsive. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't had any issues with any of the cameras. So I've never had to contact support, but I have had other people, they've had an issue. Somebody sent me an email that they had an issue with their camera, and they reached out to AVCans, and they were very responsive. For Mako, the same. Well, everybody else, I can't address. I'm not saying good or bad, but I haven't had anybody had to contact anybody else. So if I had to say anybody right now, those top three would be AVCans, for Mako, and A-Video1. I haven't had to interact with, AVCans. Yeah, AVCans for Mako, A-Video1. I haven't had to interact with SMT AV, and I haven't had to interact with Persil as in a troubleshooting type of thing. So honestly, all of them. I haven't had any camera that I've worked with that I specifically is like I refuse to work with. Because it was a horrible quality and stuff like that. So I think that's a good thing. Jesse, do any of you guys use mics like the Rode Wireless Go or the DJI mics? I use Rode Wireless on all of mine. I do have a Hollyland Lark that's on the steps right there. I got that because I wanted to test it out. I like the DJI one, but I mean, I got all of them. I have the Rode Wireless 1, which is my go-to at first, and we have the Rode Wireless 2. I have almost all of the shotgun mics. I started with that Rode Wireless video mic. That's what I used and upgraded. Originally, I used to have a boom that was off camera, and that's what I was using for a long time. I have the smaller one that I put on my Sony. And I really want to play around with the DJI one, but one issue I have with the DJI, which is not that the app that goes to this one, like it still doesn't show up on the App Store. Like you gotta manually install it to your phone, and I don't like stuff like that. But anyway, I want to play around with that. Back to Kelvin. We have a direct cable from our band audio console to the ATEM Mini. Okay, so that would be a line in from a mixer. Can you confirm that the ATEM Mini is set for mic, whatever connection you're using that is set to line? Then after that, we would pretty much, I like asking these questions because we need to see, do we have to make adjustments on the ATEM or do we need to do it on the mixer? That's the main reason why I'm asking these questions. Tony also wants to know, also, please advise about color correction on OBS using the filters. Any reference or document, please. Personally, I don't do color correction in OBS. I'm not, I think Epoch's Voss does a lot of OBS stuff with the filters in that way. I'm more of, if I do want to do color correction, I do it in the camera. I don't do it through external stuff. That's just me. Back to Jesse. Yeah, so my volunteers have a hard time remembering to start the stream when I'm not there, so I'm looking for a way to trigger it automatically. We use ProPresenter's capture feature to RTMP to YouTube. Yeah, if you were using vMix, you could put a macro on, well, actually, you can use a macro in general that will start it and have it linked to a certain time to start up. Now, if you're using ProPresenter, you can actually do a macro to start it. What you would do is make a clock and then do a macro that once it hits a certain time, it will engage the other stuff. And that's all done inside of ProPresenter. I do the same thing in my church. We used to have, when I did it at Antioch and I do it at Signs and Wonders, people will forget to start the countdown timer. I have a macro that whenever ProPresenter opens up, it turns on a bunch of things automatically. And the same thing will work with starting a stream at a certain set time. Let's see, page 1. Kelvin, what camcorder do you recommend? Is the Blackmagic Studio a good choice? I mean, it all depends. I mean, I like this camera, but as you can tell, I mean, I need somebody to man it, or I have it locked in. Now, I do have a zoom lens on it, so I could zoom and control it through the ATEM software if I really needed to. So if I come in here to camera, that's the other reason why I like the Blackmagic stuff. So if I come here, yeah, I mean, I could do a little bit of zooming in, and we do our autofocus from there. You know, I can do some of that, but these type of cameras are, I got it because people wanted me to test it out. That's the real reason. And I like doing this. Now, personally, I would love to have this camera at my church, but again, like we were talking about, now you're introducing needing somebody to manually man a camera. If you have the staff to do it, that's great. I don't. And a lot of the ministries I work with don't. Now, to be quite honest, the camcorders I like is, I'm actually doing this for Rose Chapel, is the Canon G. Marissa Valentine, thank you for subscribing. Awesome. I personally still use the Canon G50. That is the camcorder that I like. Now, if I had my way and I had unlimited staff, all this other good stuff, and I know it sounds like overkill, but you know the cameras I would use? Boom. I would go with some of these Ursa Minis. And because, you know, if it's like I want to crank it up, that's what I would do. And this is just one of those desires. I mean, right now I'm using a Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. That's what you're looking at right now. I'm trying to give myself a reason to get the 6K, but I have no reason to. And again, I mean, I like the G50. I really like those. That's what I'm thinking about buying another one, because for the third year in a row, my company's been blessed with being able to stream a graduation. So, which reminds me, I need to get something. The nano beams that I used to send internet to the field when we did graduation, I actually installed that at the transition home at my church. So I need another way to send internet to on the field. But anyway, I use that camera, and I'm looking at getting another one because they're just made for long form content. That's why I like the camcorders, especially in an outdoor setting. I still use that. That's what I'm getting ready to get for another ministry that I'm installing next week. That's going to go in their fellowship hall, and they need a portable camera to get it up and moving and stuff out the way. Very good questions. Very good questions. And I had a bunch of people jump in with some questions here. Yeah, MA16V3 agrees with the macros. Yep, I've been leveraging them a lot more as well too. Jesse. So right now we have a native Stream Deck button to toggle the live stream and ProPresenter. Yeah, you can set that up as a macro as well too, Jesse. That will work. And ProPresenter can be set up in home and loaded on Sunday mornings. What I would do is load it into Planning Center and then load. See, I there's a bunch of stuff I wish it would do that. Dennis was saying, too risky to use ProPresenter in my honest opinion. It crashes often. Now, I would agree with that. That's why I personally don't stream with ProPresenter, because I've had it crash on me a couple of Sundays, and that's just from just playing background video scriptures and stuff like that. Back to Creative for Fun. AJ, if we decide to use the USB to connect the X32, what would we have to do in the X32 to make this adjustment? I have a video going over that, ma'am, and let me see. That is AJ X32 audio. This is the video that you would need. How to send computer audio to the X32. That is the same thing that you use. Pretty straightforward. It goes through the same thing. You got to be careful though. I think we did this on y'all setup, because one of these videos actually, no, that's Christian Memorial. I forgot. We did have a video where we did that install with y'all. I can't remember. I know we had it, because that's what we installed at y'all stuff. But anyway, that's the video that you would need. So let's copy that link and I'll put it in the video, the comments area. Again, thank y'all so much for sharing y'all's time with me. Tony wants to know, can the A10 Mini Pro do color correction? Yes, it can, but it can only do it with supporting cameras. So like, for example, I have 2 Blackmagic cameras. So if I do this right now, I'm going to do some color correction right here live. As you can see, I'm adjusting all of this live. So if I cut over here, so I can come in here and play around with all this stuff. That's what the Blackmagic ones allows that to be done. So let's reset all of this and get it back to normal. That's why if I had it to do, that's the reason why I would go with all the Blackmagic stuff, because I just like all of it being uniform, because then I can control everything in one location. That's just me. Let's see. How does everyone like the P16 setup? I found that the musicians that switch to it keep asking me to adjust their mixes, which is why I prefer going with the P1s and the MXQ app control. I like it. I just wish that people would just take the time to actually learn how to use it, because I have a bunch of people saying, I can't hear nothing. I was like, I don't control that. You got your stuff too loud. Like, my musicians are going to be surprised. They kept bugging me about their talkbacks, and I did that in another Q&A. So I have mics now, their own little talk back that they can talk to each other, and it's only heard through channel 15. So they're going to be surprised to see that Sunday. I did that the other day. Rhonda, Extreme wasn't out when we got the A10 Mini Pro at the beginning of the pandemic. Yeah, understood. Tony was saying he's sending everything over NDI. All right, so how is your network set up? How are you doing that? Do you have, what type of router are you using to bridge that gap? Are you just using a network cable to bring everything in? What's the infrastructure to get that, if you're saying that you want a better image? Because if you're using NDI, you could crank up the bit rate of how much data is being sent, but that's all contingent on your network. Because if you crank it too high, it's not going to be able to be supported. That's what I'm thinking right now. First Baptist Church and great info this morning. Hey, I'm glad it is helping. Jesse was saying, that's really good to hear about the PTZ companies. And then also, sorry for hogging the chat. Like I said, I've been holding on to a lot of questions. I just binged all your back catalogs that I've been waiting on. Hey, well, thank you. And that's what it's meant for. And don't feel that you're hogging. That's what I do this for, to answer as many questions as I can. How do you control wireless mics on the soundboard? We are using a Panasonic analog board. How do you control wireless mics? Well, I mean, if you're a wireless mic, you would have some form of gain on the receiver on that unit. Typically, what I do on mine, I set mine to at 50% on whatever it is on the receiver, and then I adjust everything from a gain and faders on the board itself. But let me know if you need something more detailed than that. MA16V3, we just installed the AV Cam's controller you did a video on. Quite happy with it, but had a few glitches. Wish I had more than 200 characters to share. We overcame it though. Awesome. But let me know what the issue is. I mean, some of it is a little funky, but hey, that's the camera the joystick I ended up giving to a ministry to help him out. I let him borrow it when I was out of town, and I was going to get back to run a RS-232 connection in the ceiling. And to be quite honest, I just didn't want to climb in the ceiling. I'm just like, man, y'all just have it. Because I don't want to crawl in the ceiling and run a new cable. Yeah, it is set to mic. I think it's something with the mixer. Okay, what's your gain set to? But you're saying if it's going to the mixer, are you doing a mix out, its own custom mix out that's going to the ATEM? Is it your main left and right that's going out? What is your out? Is it just duplicating what's in the house? Let me know. Reggie. Hey, AJ, my pastor wants to do Bible study on Zoom for some members. He does it in one of the classrooms now where their members are. What do you suggest I use? A ATEM Mini Pro. And, I mean, well, if you want to use that setup, a ATEM Mini Pro and a camcorder, or you can get like the SMT AV that's over USB, and that would just connect to it. And then you have some other way that needs to be able to capture audio, like a small 5-channel mixer or something like that, or a shotgun mic hooked up. There's a bunch of ways. I would need to see the level of technical savviness that people have, or the simplicity that needs to be done. Like for me, my pastor knows his way around stuff, but tech is not his thing. So if I was going to use something, like he uses StreamYard when he does stuff at home. So I personally would love to get him an ATEM Mini and get him a better camera to have better quality and stuff like that. But that's, unless I set it up and it's literally just press one button and everything turns on automatically, that's where his skill set is, and I want to get him to make his stuff better, but I want it to be simple. If you need something that's simple, I mean, I would go with something like this USB one, and you don't have to really worry about it. It just plugs in, it pulls power from the computer, all this other stuff. The sound would be the only complex thing about that. But again, I would need to get a little bit more information before I can thoroughly answer that. MA16V3, color correction in software sucks. Try to do it in the camera as best as you can. Kelvin, what lens are you using on the Blackmagic Studio? Let me see. Well, right now, that is a small Olympus. And I know I shouldn't do this, but that was easy for me to do. It is an Olympus 14 to 42 millimeter 1.35 to 5.6 zoom lens. That's what that is. That's what I'm using on that. Let's see. Back to Jesse. The only time I've seen ProPresenter 7 be buggy is with churches that never spring clean their databases. If you keep your media folders lean and clean, keep the libraries good, it's solid. Awesome. Timo. Hey AJ, at the church I plugged in the ATEM Mini, a 3.5 millimeter jack from the mixer from which there was coming out worship service, but the audio quality was terrible. What could be the problem? Well, what's the other end plugged into? Please don't tell me. And I'm learning this from Chuck Taylor. Where is that coming from? If you're just coming out from a headphone jack, bad idea. What's the other end that's connected? What type of connection are you using there? Tony, if you honestly, NDI is not going to be supported anytime soon with the ATEM Mini Pro because they are competing companies. So with that, you're going to need to run an SDI or a fiber optic HDMI cable connected directly to the ATEM. That would be the easiest way. That's how I've used mine. D Green. Are those Elgato lights on your desk? If so, can they be controlled without Wi-Fi? Yes, they are Elgato lights that I have on my desk. And unfortunately, no, they cannot. And I think I tilted my camera when I was moving these. Can I zoom out? Yes, those are Elgato lights that I have right here. And no, they cannot be controlled. I mean, there's an on and off switch on the back of them. Excuse me, you can leave them, like I leave mine on and I have them in smart switches so that I could turn the outlet on and they'll turn them on. But no, I mean, you would need something with them, unfortunately. Back to Jesse. I wish Blackmagic would update their box camera. That was an awesome setup. Are you talking about this one? This used to be my overhead camera. I really do like this. The only issue I had, there was no autofocus. None of the Blackmagics have autofocus, which stinks. And then this was really meant for a drone. This was really going to be repurposed into a project where I was going to build a RC car that went on a track that went on a ceiling, and I was going to have it on a pivot arm, and it was going to be able to move back and forth. That was a project I was going to do last year, but I got so busy. Still want to try and do it at some time. Since that camera can actually be linked to servos with a joystick, a 6-channel joystick to control it. MA16V3. My pastor asked about camera upgrades a couple of years ago. I showed him one of the Ursa cameras. He then asked for options that don't make him want to hit me. Jesse wants to know what's my favorite camcorder. It's still the G50, the Canon G50. And then also any videos or pictures should be downscaled to whatever your outputs natively support. Playing 4K video backgrounds to a 720p projector or LED wall is a waste of computer power. I would agree. Covenant Healing is, would you use audio from laptop or ATEM Mini to OBS? Well, that all depends on what you're doing. Me personally, if the ATEM can handle it, I route everything there. So for me, I would have even though I disabled it, originally what I used to do is I had all my audio from the computer going to the ATEM. So I would have HDMI input for whatever my computer be on. So all my audio is going to the ATEM, and then the ATEM USB out filters everything. I like my stuff to be simple. That's how I would do it. But you could do it either way. But me personally, I send all my audio, just like right now. I haven't done anything different. All of my audio is going to my mixer. Then the audio mixer out is going to the ATEM, and that's what you're hearing. I don't do multiple steps. That's just me. It makes it simple if somebody comes behind me. Jarius Tolson, you got my best friend's last name. What is the best way possible to capture the audio of an organ through an ATEM Mini Pro? How I have it, I have 2 Rode M5 mics on the top and bottom horn, and I have those linked into my mixer, and then that's how I have it. You could split it with left and right channels or make them 2 separate channels. That's how I have mine coming in into our mixer. I use OBS to stream to Caster, but I can't automatically cast to Facebook Live. It's fine with YouTube. Am I doing something wrong? It all depends. Inside of Facebook, if you're scheduling a live stream, it doesn't do it instantly. If you are scheduling a live stream, you have an option to turn the same thing on that you have in Facebook. So that you have in YouTube. So I'm going to have to change this so that this doesn't happen here. So if I come in here to Facebook and I go and schedule something, I don't know. I'll set this to private because I'm just trying to do something here. So if I do a stream, where is it at? I don't want persistent, so because that's gonna change. So y'all can write that down all day long, but it's gonna change. So I come here. Where is it at? They used to make this stuff so simple, and they keep changing it, thinking it's making it better. There was an option when you schedule something, like right now it says to allow encoder to end the stream. There's another one that will say let it auto start. I think now because of the event, it will go off of the date and time that you pick. So like if I schedule this right now, which is for tomorrow, Facebook is expecting to have a stream before this time, and it will automatically go live. Now, if I go back to, let me take this off for a second. If I do go live now, I want to see what the options show. Yeah, going live now doesn't do it. Yeah, they've removed it. Like YouTube has an option where it says that once it detects a stream, it automatically goes. This one, you have to still physically hit go live, which I think stinks. Yeah, they've removed it. It used to be an option, but they've removed it. Again, Facebook making changes that nobody asked for. So unfortunately, no, you would still have to do that. Now, if you use Caster, I'm surprised. Caster should be able to interact natively with the API of Facebook, and it automatically does that. If it doesn't do it, how are you adding it? Did you just copy the RTMP and the streaming key and added it to Caster, or are you using the API level where Caster, like Restream, links to your account and it does that automatically for you? Which one? And we'll see from there. Is there a countdown plugin for OBS? I'm sure it is. I'm not aware of one off the top of my head. Tony was saying right now he has it connected, the camera over a gigabit switch and everything that way. All right. That's the only thing I can think. Now, if you're still talking about the NDI, see if you can set the settings inside of the camera on how much data is being sent for your video stream. I don't have an NDI camera here, so I can't show that because I don't have one here to do that. But there is a setting on how much data is actually going to be sent over your Ethernet. But back to a previous thing, if you want to engage with the A10 Mini, you're going to have a physical connection there, which would be a wireless HDMI. Personally, I use a fiber optic HDMI cable, or you can go to SDI cable and then convert it back with something like this. This is a bidirectional that you can use for either one. That's how I would use that. Back to Jesse. Oh, and the limiter function on the P16 is super confusing for people. It's easy to do it wrong and slam the limiter down on every. Yeah, that works too. Andrew wants to know which is better, NDI or teleport. I haven't messed with teleport, so it all depends. I know NDI is really going to be dependent on the network that you got. So I can't thoroughly answer that question since I have not worked with teleport to actually do a fair comparison. Creator for fun. No, I believe we have the cable into the ATEM from the X32, but you found out about USB audio after our install. Yes. So the way I think I had it is the USB audio is going from the computer, sending the computer audio into the mixer. But the mixer is still having your X32, the audio out is still going into a 3.5 into the ATEM. That's how I typically use mine. Like I'm using that right now. It just makes me not have to worry about the buzz and noise over it. It's a digital connection for the audio from the computer in, but audio out going into the ATEM is still a physical like 3.5 connection. MA16V3, I'll either post the gotchas as a comment on the video or I might record something and make it a video replay. Okay. Kelly, just wanted to say thank you for your mic suggestions you gave me a few weeks back. Got the GTD audio and they work great for what we needed. Thanks again. Hey, you are welcome. Darius, I am seeing that there is a need for secondary portable streaming systems for use in alternate locations like small sanctuaries, fellowship halls, meetings, and rooms. Waiting for the second part of that. I mean, for me, that's why personally, the infrastructure, like at my church, I do it here too. I have the ATEM Mini Extreme. This is my whole setup. When I go portable, that's what the ATEM Mini Pro is for. I don't want to, because what I used to do, I would do everything here because when I didn't have the money to do it, I did a laptop with a capture card, and then OBS. I did everything when I was streaming games. But as we earned more income from doing the games and stuff like that, and from YouTube and from business, I bought an ATEM Mini so that I would just duplicate the same thing. Just like how I capture scripture and lyrics and present them through an ATEM, I did the same thing, but instead of doing scripture and lyrics, I was doing the scoreboard for the game. It was the same skill set. So when I would hire the kids that work with me at church and I brought them with the game, guess what? The skill set was exactly the same. That's the same mindset I have here at Signs and Wonders. When we do the media, in the media room, we use the ATEM Mini Extreme and everything. When we go into the conference room, it's an ATEM Mini Extreme, a broken one. The second HDMI out doesn't work, but it works fine for us. ATEM Mini Extreme. And the exact same thing. Scripture is done the exact same way. The output, the streaming, the audio, everything is done the exact same way. So, yes, you can have a portable system. But my mindset, the steep learning curve it takes for you to learn the media, why would you want to introduce a completely different setup in a different part of the room, building, or in different location? That's why I always use the same type of stuff. Philip Paul. Hey, AJ, I have a post about in-ear monitor system in the Facebook group. There's a few questions there. Could you go through? I'll have to do that later. I'll try and comment back. Like I said, I'm playing catch up, but I'll see what we can do with that. JB, what is your thought on using YOLO Live Pro for church? I think it works great. I mean, if this shrinks down everything that's needed, so you don't need a monitor, you need a screen. The only issue that I have with this, obviously, is you're limited on your inputs. But again, I mean, if you just have one camera and personally with all the updates, being able to add scripture and lower thirds and stuff like that, I think it works. I think it works great. So I was using an XLR to 3.5 millimeter jack adapter, and also I figured out that I wasn't set to line setting the ATEM software. Could that be the problem, or could it be? Yes, that would be. If you have it set to mic and you're doing like that, it will throw a ton of noise on there. If you're coming from a mixer, the ATEM should always be set to a line, and not anything other than that. But I think that will improve your audio. Back to Reggie. I have an ATEM Mini and I don't use because Extreme we use for live stream. I need something simple for him. Price is not a problem for me. I'm the finance man. I have an ATEM Mini. Honestly, I would say for something simple like that, go with the ATEM Mini Pro, just because it's the same price now, and that allows you to live stream as well too. So no other computer is needed except for the initial setup. That's what I would do on my setups. RC from Transformers. Or did I just date myself? Just jumping in, and you may have already hit on this. We'll be moving to ProPresenter from Easy Worship in a couple of weeks. Any suggestions, best practices? Practice, practice, practice. The flow and the concept is the same, but ProPresenter will give you a lot more features that are natively embedded. Personally, this is me personally, I would not use ProPresenter as a streaming. Just as Jesse has said, make sure if you're using assets, sort your assets, your backgrounds, all this other stuff, make them local. Don't put them on a network drive, and don't let them get out of control in size. That would be the best thing I would say. So Henry, hi AJ, thank you for all you do. I'm streaming with the A10 Mini Pro and use OBS for Scripture. Can you show how I can record in OBS also at the same time? If you use, okay, what you would do in that setup, where we at? Open back up OBS. All right, so we're back here. So how you would do this is two things. You would, if you want to now, this is going to be a little problematic, because if you're using OBS to push a signal out, that's what's going to be displayed here. If you are recording in OBS, it will be recording the exact same thing. So you need to have some type of loop out with that. Either you need to introduce another, I go from a simplicity standpoint. What you could do is add something like a HyperDeck Shuttle Mini that connects to the HDMI out, and it's a pass-through, and it just records. And then you don't have to do any of this. Or if you're doing OBS, you would need to introduce another computer to do this, to safely record everything. I don't know of a way to do ISO recordings in OBS. I'm sure they have a plugin. I haven't played around with it. That's why I don't recommend it. Doing this natively in OBS, that is going to be problematic if you're using OBS also as an output. So how I would do it, I would have one computer. Well, you can't even do that either, because if you're using the A10 Mini Pro, the only thing I can sit back and think of, you would have to either you would have to split the See, this is the issue with the A10 Mini Pro. The A10 Mini Extreme, you could also have another output, another USB out, and you can just hook up a drive to it to record. I have to think about that one. You stumped me on that one. I know how it can be done, but it's going to introduce some complexity. So I have to think about that one. I'm going to do about 4 more questions. We're going to shut it down here in a little bit, folks. So again, thank you so much for stopping by here. Kelvin, hey, appreciate it. You are welcome. Back to RC. Also, my pastor wants new non-PTZ cameras opposite of my desire. He wants close-up shots as he moves around a lot. What cameras do you recommend? Any of them. If you really want, the studio camera right there is great. You're going to have somebody manning it to do that. Those are great. I like those. That is the plus one that's HDMI out only. You got to play around with your lenses. Again, I'm not a lens aficionado, so I can't tell you that exactly what type of lens you would get at the distance. That's not my skill set yet. I'm still learning that. Like this one, the lens I'm using here, it took me 7 purchases and returns before I got the right lens for this. And again, I don't move, because if I move too far, I'll get out of focus because it's set to my distance. But I would say that the Studio Camera 4K by Blackmagic are good. 3 more questions. Hey AJ, the USB PTZ camera, the video out is USB, right? So I use USB to RJ45 to get more distance. Yes, that should work. I haven't tested it, but technically, yes, that would work. Last two by Jonathan. Good morning, AJ. I used the hum eliminator to reduce the static to connect my mixer to my ATEM, and now I don't have any sound. I connected the mixer to a quarter TRS source input jack and our TRS out jack for the hum eliminator. Any ideas? How do you have it connected? So in this scenario, you're using both of these. Try and switch to, well, I mean, that should technically still work. I'm not sure on that one. If you disconnect it, I mean, you're still getting audio, right? Yeah, I'm not sure on why that would just stop for a second. But last one here. Tony, you're a pro. Many thanks for your time. Hey, you are welcome. I'm glad to be of help. So, folks, I finally got my stuff updated. I want to thank all my Patreon supporters and YouTube members. They make stuff like this possible. You too can become a Patreon supporter by going to patreon.com/AJaytheCEO, or you can become a YouTube member by clicking the join button down below. Anybody who is a Patreon supporter or YouTube member is entered twice automatically for all of my giveaways. At the top tier on Patreon, you have a free monthly 1 hour consultation with me at any time. You just have to book it. There is a code that you have to do through your website, because if anybody accidentally books that, it's $3,000. That's hopefully to discourage anybody from using that one. But there's a code for anybody who's at the top tier that you can use that will pass you through. And that's about it. So thank y'all so much, folks. And if nobody's ever told you, thank you for everything that you're doing. You are on the front lines of the battle that we're doing in sharing the gospel throughout the whole world. And don't let anybody think that what you're doing is not important, because it is. You are reaching hundreds of thousands of people that you are not aware of, because the streams that you help do, the scripture that you're doing, the research that you're doing, the CSAA ministry that you're doing is helping to reach people that may be reached right now or 5 years from now. That's what this is all about, is letting this tool is allowing ministry to outlive us, because it's out there. And somebody that you'll never meet in a place that you've never been to or ever will be is going to see the stuff that you help produce, and they will most likely hear the truth and hear about Jesus Christ. And that's what this is all about. So thank you for your dedication, all your hard work, as best as I possibly can. I just want to thank you and celebrate you and appreciate all the hard work that you're doing, folks. So y'all have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you is on the face of this planet, and we'll be catching you on the next video, folks. Later.